Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel here at Harriet's Hall. We just want to take this time out to do a little recap on what we've been doing so far since the month of June has begun. We have decided that, well, before the month of June began, we decided that we were going to focus on our men. So this series or project was called the Men of Impact series. And we did a couple of things. We had a couple of men coming in showcasing their talents in our Saturday Night Live broadcast that we did on our Instagram page, and we had some that actually advised us in regards to a lot of things that we could do, can do, are doing, and so forth. So we're just going to shed some light on those guys, give them a big vote of thanks for all they've done, and we really appreciate each and every one of them. We just want you guys to know that we are here to support, and we love each and every one of you. So let's get right into the video. We're going to just pinpoint some key areas, and then we'll do the vote of thanks in a later on. First up, we have Mr. O'Dane Reed, who says that giving back is not something I just do, it's my passion. After working with multiple non-profit organizations in 2016, I decided to take a step and form my very own organization known as the iCare Initiative. The mandate at the time was to just give back to any and everyone who needed help, and that resulted in our first project being a feeding project in Westmoreland. Our mandate changed, and so did the name of the organization. iCare Jamaica Foundation made its entry and has since hosted 3 successful back-to-school treats, providing 1,250 students from low-income families with back-to-school supplies, and also awarded 2 scholarships among other projects hosted by the organization. Giving back is my purpose, and because of that, I am not only the executive director of iCare Jamaica Foundation, but also the vice president of the St. James Parish Council, working with all the youths organizations across St. James to make their impact much greater. Alrighty, so next up we have Mr. O'Dane Houghton. He was born and raised in one of the most volatile communities of Montego Bay, Jamaica. O'Dane was imparted some of life's most important lessons, a few through irreplaceable losses. He first became cognizant of his potential to make a difference after his older brother was shot and killed in his community. His loss ignited a flame of community building and youth engagement. For most of his life, O'Dane has been working with various different non-profit organizations dedicated to promoting childhood literacy, youth development, and youth empowerment. Currently, O'Dane is the director of one of these organizations known as the Valley Foundation. Through the Valley Foundation, O'Dane has led youth development workshops at over 15 different high schools and communities throughout Montego Bay, Kingston, and St. Andrew. He has organized several football tournaments for inner city youths of these violent communities to provide them an avenue to build purpose, grow ambition, and develop skills through these sporting events. He believes that sport can be an invaluable tool to harness the talent and potential of inner city youth. O'Dane has been involved in youth development work for over a decade and has been awarded both the Prime Minister Youth Award for Young Service and the Governor's General Award for Excellence in Academics and Volunteerism, 2 of the highest honors that can be conferred upon a young person in Jamaica. He was recently awarded the Sheving Scholarship to study in the United Kingdom. From grassroots community work to international collaborations, O'Dane has been deeply involved in youth service. He is a passionate contributor to the nation and region building, working closely with Commonwealth, CARICOM, and UNESCO. These projects are geared at improving the standard of living of the young people in marginalized communities through fostering inclusive growth strategies that will inoculate independence, self-resilience, collective prosperity, and sustainability. So, Mr. Omar Anderson. He says, for almost a decade, I have spearheaded outreach activities across the 14 parishes of Jamaica in my role as PRO and organizer of a non-profit group called Gospel Outreach Ministry. This includes building and renovating homes for the less fortunate, handing out of care packages, and providing health assessments by our wonderful health team. I believe that whatever I can do to help someone in need, I should not hesitate. Up next, we have Mr. Ricardo Burke. He states, I am Ricardo Burke, founder and managing director of Youths for Change, and recently inducted as a board member of the National Integrity Action, a humble servant of the people. My life's mission is to see underserved people having equal opportunities. While advocating for the more vulnerable people amongst us, I want giving back to be a way of life and not a choice. We have been in segregation as a people for decades, and it has caused our crime rate to skyrocket. It's time for us to come together as a people and help to build each other, regardless of religious beliefs or political beliefs. Love is always the answer. For Mr. Kiefer Davis, his bio says, Marlon Edelman is credited with saying that service is the rent we pay for being. It is the very purpose of life and not something you do in your spare time. And I believe this to be true. My parents were government workers and active members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. My early years were spent in leadership training in Pathfinder Ministries, and this is where my love for the service began. Helping folks in need, mentoring younger youth and my peers, as well as guiding older folks through unfamiliar territory, became a love, plus the uniform was nice. At Manning School, I joined the Interact Club and got my first taste of community service outside of the church, and I was hooked. I also made friends with members of the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force and got introduced to national service. In 2010, I signed up to become an adult volunteer in the JCCF, working with youth primarily in Cornwall County as well as across the island. Along with the cadets, I've carried my choral teams on missions to infirmaries, community cleanup activities, and supporting other national community service projects. Since 2010, I volunteered my service to our nation by serving as the Justice of Peace. It has also been a pleasure volunteering as a part of several parish development committees for the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission. Next, we have Mr. Ethan Palmer, who states, a teacher by profession, I have been serving the education sector for over 7 years, from the early childhood to the secondary levels of education. My greatest work, though, has been with the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force, where I have served as a commissioned officer since 2014. I think this is where I have had the greatest impact on youth development, and I pride myself on having gotten the opportunity to work with some of Jamaica's best poised to lead this nation into the next generation. Another highlighted individual is Mr. Dalton Spence. He has been actively involved in the Norwood Church since age 17 as the director of music, and his community involvement spans over 20 years. His involvements are as follows. He's the organizer for the futsal competition for unattached youths in and around Norwood, Hendon, Bottom Pen, etc. This was needed as these communities were at war, but through these games, we see that there has been a great change amongst the youths. The youth club, which was started back in 2007, has seen many developments amongst the residents, especially the youths, and they've even received grants and scholarships from the CSJP, allowing these youths to move on to becoming doctors, nurses, engineers, and the list goes on. He also organizes a back-to-school treat and offers free medical for kids who are going back to school after the summer break. He says that even for this year, through the pandemic, they were able to curate over 100 masks for the elderly free of cost through the benefit or through the help of one of their established team members. Following Dalton, we have Mr. Okino Leslie, who is a young philanthropist and ideator. Okino started his first NGO at age 16, one of the first youth in Jamaica to establish an NGO. Okino started the Okino Helping Hands project in 2014, and the project had supported childhood institutions along with elderly and children's home. So we salute you, Okino, for doing this at such a tender age, and we definitely pray and hope that this will continue to be a success and you will continue to see this success in whatever your endeavors may be. So following Okino, we have Mr. Deidre Houghton. Deidre is 19 years old and he is currently the Region Secretary / PRO for the NSSC and the St. James Treasurer of the National Youth Council of Jamaica. People would describe him as being honest, empathetic, and very collaborative. His passion for leadership and advocacy has helped him to partake in numerous volunteerism outreach programs in his school and as well as in his community. He has served as the prefect council for 3 years, working alongside with head boys, prefects, and sub-prefects of the institution to enforce the rules in the pleasant manner. As the VP of the Interact Club, Debate Society, and Peer Council at his school, he is able to give back to his community, represent his school, and also be the mentor and provide counsels to others. Through the St. James Junior Council, he was able to contribute to the development of the youths in his community, as well as to collaborate on projects such as infrastructural outreach and workshops in the St. James institution. Here's Mr. Christopher Gibbon. He states, "Greetings. My name is Christopher Gibbon and I am the Student Union President of the G.C. Foster College of the Physical Education and Sports. During my tenure at the G.C. Foster College, I have spent a plethora of time rebuilding the brand of our student union by focusing on the core principles of representation. This was done by empowering the student representative to become selfless in their act of service instead of chasing publicity. I have contributed positively through the lens of what I call the law of vision. John Dewey denotes that if we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of tomorrow. Therefore, I have worked assiduously in shaping the mindset of our millennials by promoting the need of self-belief. Having done a series of workshops, such as time management and building one's brand, I was able to solidify the importance of owning and learning one's skill set. The need to be financially literate was of high demand, and through the JNWay program, I was able to bridge the gap in educating my peers on the importance of becoming financially literate. Having utilized my skill set in the media and production, I was able to change the culture of intercollegiate activities within and outside the four walls of the college. By using digital interaction through the use of social media mediums, I was able to make youth change. Additionally, I strongly believe in developing leadership skills, personal growth, and development seminars, which I was able to utilize when I established the GC Foster Centennial Optimist Club, as well as the GC Foster Circle K, which is geared towards educating students through their participation. And finally, last but not least, we have Mr. Richard Washington. Richard Washington is the proud father of two, Charlie K. Washington and Malik Washington. He believes that a father figure is a very crucial role in a child's life, whether it be biological or not. And this is why he is involved in both of his children's life. Being a father, he says, is not always easy. It takes determination and a spirit of constant encouragement and motivation. My daughter is very passionate about my involvement in her life, and for this and so many other reasons, being a father, and a good father at that, is something to be proud of and can't be taken for granted. Apart from being a proud father, he's also a teacher of agricultural science at the Mannings High School. He is also a senior teacher with the responsibility for the agricultural science department, as well as a CXC moderator for agriculture. He is also a FIFA assistant referee who officiated in the game in Jamaica, North Central America, and also in the Caribbean. In 2015, he represented the country at the Men's Under-17 World Cup in Chile. Apart from all his accomplishments, he definitely specifies that the most or the greatest accomplishment and the greatest pride and joy of his life are his children. So with all of that said, giving you just a rundown or a synopsis of the bios of each of these guys that made this project a success, we just want to really extend our appreciation to each and every one of you that participated. Thank you for setting your time aside to come in, talk to us, to showcase your talents, and to let us know that, during whatever we're going through, even in these times of pandemic, that there is still light at the end of the tunnel. And in regards to our Saturday Night Live, we just want to say thank you to just a couple of the guys. So first up, we have Chris Johnson, we have Rashawn Lee, we have Courtney Gray, we have Michael Wilson, we have Justin Lowe, and we have Darren Manning. Thank you guys so much for making that Saturday Night Live project a success. Your talents are on point, and we just want to say we salute you, we appreciate you, enough love.